Is this thing, is it working? All right, we're back. I never had to do this before till now, but let's check this out. We're going to be looking at a sunroof on a 2004 Dodge Neon srt4. If you know about them, these like to leak. I've already got a video on that. We like to have lots of problems with them. So let's see what this one's doing. Let's turn that off so we don't have to listen to it. So you have your little, all right, sidecar key to on. You have a button to work it. Right, lift it up, put it down. It was kind of open yesterday. Now, sometimes, like I opened this yesterday, just for an example here. I got it open yesterday and actually came back to here. It was opening just fine, but then the switch going forward wasn't wanting to do anything. Now, I'm just assuming that that was from it not being used and the copper connections inside there had a little bit of corrosion, but we're clicking it. You can hear it. Okay, so typically what goes bad in these is if you're hearing that grinding, it's typically usually the gear that's in there. I can show that stuff when we get this thing pulled apart. I have a complete used replacement that we're going to be putting in. I'll show you what that looks like. But what I'm trying to get at is if that is all that's wrong with this, like I said, this roof opened, it went up. You know, you can do your double, it'll do the double tap on here, and usually it'll just keep spinning. And it did open, but the problem was it didn't want to go shut, so I was able to push on it gently and evenly, because if you force it, you can break these and damage these assemblies on this roof. There's some rods on the sides that like to give you problems, and I'll suggest not opening these roofs without the glass in, because it's two separate assemblies, one on each side, and you can damage them if you do that. All right. They'll work, but then like one side will go down, then the other side doesn't go down. Then you got to like try to, I don't know, gently maneuver them to get them to line up again. So we're going to be pulling out the motor. Okay, so that motor is located right up in here. So we're going to be removing these these visors. So we got visor clips on both sides. These ones are typically held in by Phillips head screws. All right, and then these are T20 Torx. You're going to want to remove these on both sides, both your pillars. This right here, kind of just, it'll pop off, and there's actually a screw underneath there. All right, then we got to get these off here. All right, here are some of the tools that I've grabbed. I've got a standard Phillips, standard number 2 Phillips, a really small flathead, another flathead, and a T20 Torx. Okay, so these you can get in here like that and they'll pop off. All right, so we need to do those. These here will also have a Torx bit up in here, I believe. Okay, so yep, I got a Torx bit, T20. They'll actually stay into these handles. Okay, oh, there we go, one fell out. So there's what they look like. Okay, you want to lose those. Then if you come over here, gotta be careful with these because sometimes they will break. These will be a Phillips head. It's weird that they're all different kinds. All right, that's how that comes out. And then normally what I'll do is I'll turn this way. I'll get this inside one. There you go, you can see what they look like. Just nice short ones. Make sure that these all get back in the same location. Then I'll bring this back up, flip it that way. I'll get the inner one here. All right, so that's how that comes off. Now these center or these pillar clips, I like to pull this down. Not only that, you will have to remove the seal out of the way. As you see, it does hold it does go over this top. So I go like this, and then I pop these clips off, just like that. All right. I'm gonna have to have both doors open. I'm going to disconnect the battery, obviously, so that I don't drain it with my dome light being on. And I'm gonna get the visors out of the way and the handles on the sides, and then I'll show you what's gonna be the next step. I'm hoping that I can get enough of a downward flex from here. If not, I'll have to pull these. This pulls out and then this pulls out. I'm gonna see what it looks like. Like I said, I've always just pulled the entire headliner and thrown in a complete working sunroof. This one's fine, it just needs the motor. So that's what we're trying to do here. All right, see you when I get this other stuff removed. So this is the switch, this is what it looks like out. All right, it's in here like this. What I did was I got in between here with the flathead and felt where the metal was, and then got on the plastic and just pried down a little bit. It pops out pretty hard. That way you're not pulling on this metal and pulling down too hard on the rest of everything else. You need to unplug this, and then hopefully you can see we got one Phillips head screw there. Up across here there is a seal. Some of them, this one actually started back here. I've seen them start back here in the middle. Pull that off. That holds this last bit on. It looks like I'm able to pull down on here enough. You want to make sure that you don't end up with this right here that I just did. Pulling down on this too hard. Which most of that, as long as I don't get too crazy, will all come out. So we're just going to pull down on this a little bit. There is some 8 mils that hold this in. Let's go look at a complete assembly that I already have removed. Oh, this is the complete assembly. It's actually, this is looking, if you were looking up, this is what you would see. It sits in like this. Line runs across. Here's where your switch plugs in. Here's where the gear is. Well, there's actually a gear in here, but this is the outer part that actually spins the cable. So, I see the plastic. That's a green plastic gear that's in there. Now, right here, this is the control unit. It plugs in. Like I said, I'm going to basically I was thinking, yep, I'm just going to pull it all. I'm going to pull this all as one unit. It's just pretty easy. This is like there's like two plastic stops here. You can see how these stick out. You lift that and then you just give this a push. I've actually got it popped out. I'll show you what it looks like inside there. You will need an 8 mil. This is the bolts that actually hold it in. Let's go get it done. Put it up in there. Okay, so like I was telling you about the box, there's 2 tabs here. I just pushed those down with the flathead and they pulled right out. So I'm going to get up in here and get to these bolts here, these 8 mils. As you can tell, it's pretty tight. Maybe I'll go grab a shallow 8 and the power wrench. And then we got to come over here. This side over here kind of sucks a little bit because the clip is actually up into it, which isn't going to matter when we're putting it back together. So we can come through the side and then get this unplugged. All right, so that's unplugged. Everything's unplugged. I got to get these 8 mils out of here. I'm going to grab a shallow socket and I'm going to grab my Milwaukee Power and I'm just going to run them right out. All right, there we go. There's our unit. This is a little tougher than what I thought it was going to be. Come on, get in there. Oh, here. Okay. Here we go. Now this, like I was telling you, just kind of slides in like this. Okay. All right, plugged in. Now, let me see here. Which way does this switch go? Be toward the top. Okay, so yep, it's got to come through the top here. I forgot which way to pull this through. All right, so we're all plugged in. We're all plugged in, and I'm going to power up. I'm going to reconnect my ground on my battery, and we're going to give this sunroof a test to make sure that the used motor that we installed is working. Sounds just as bad. All right, so try number 2. We got a good motor. Everything is reinstalled. That one just happened to be faulty. When I pull the parts, I just kind of stick them in that side room and they just go there. Like, I haven't had a chance to go through the pile of sunroofs that I have to test everything, to see what glasses are good. I always have people asking me about them, so that's kind of why you never get an answer. All right, so another motor is now installed. This is how it should work. Opens right up, and then it'll go closed. No clicking, no banging. So, it must be the gear that's in the top of them that's actually gets stripped out that is supposed to spin and then spin that other part. So, I guess it's the reduction gear that comes off the electric motor that actually spins the gear that actually spins the cables that are in the top. So that's what's bad. Now, here's another thing. So if you take notice, you might have had one of these fall out, as I did also. These go up in behind, right like that. So we're going to take this one, we'll stick it up in behind, and you got to make sure that they're in there because that's where your handles bolt into. And when you push this up, when these are in, you can actually put your seal in, and that'll help hold this up so that you can get everything else here aligned and in. Look at that. All right, I got a little bit of dirt on my hands, so before I go touching my headliner, I'm going to do that, and basically everything is going to go in the reverse of the removal. And I'll give you a couple updates on that, and I'll show you what it looks like finished up and completely back together. All right, so this is kind of the perfect time. Just got done raining. We did get the sunroof finished up. I don't know if I put a closing in for that, but just wanted to show you what it looks like. Did do a quick vacuum inside this car. I got to get a cover for this, but we have everything is reinstalled, and I mean, you did see it working, so here we go. And then close it back up, nice and quick, no clicking, no banging. Working just like it should. All right, another sunroof that's going to get enjoyed for the summer.